all the vendors who came today and for making this happen. We had more vendors this year than we did last year, so I think that's always a positive, good thing. So thank you very much. Without you vendors, we couldn't do this resource fair. So let's give them a round of applause. So I'm going to introduce myself really quick. My name is Lori Sandonay, and I works for New Alliance Counseling Services, which is kind of a long way of saying the county. I manage the Developmental Disabilities Program for Stevens and Ferry County. And I am new to this job, but I want to just say that I have loved working with this group of people in this population. It's really close to my heart. My mom was a DDA case manager when I was younger, and so I'm just so thrilled to feel like I've come home to DD. So thank you to all the students that have come today to listen. I just want to take a quick moment and tell you that, like I said, I was new to the program, and I've told lots of people that I just really feel like I've been a vehicle for the work of Erica Thompson, who as many of you know, put many years into growing this program and making it be what I walked into, essentially. And so I wanted to take a minute, Erica, if you want to come up really quick, and thank you for all your work.
Go, Erica!
So this is a book by Tyler, and you can go over and have them sign it afterwards. But we just really appreciate the program that you've developed here for all of us.
Here.
Hard change in my life to have to quit. So I'm glad to be here. Go, Erica! So I am absolutely thrilled to introduce our next speaker, our keynote speaker. I got to listen to him speak yesterday to the school, and I'm just so impressed with you and your bravery and your courage. So I'm thrilled that he could talk. Tyler McNamer is the author of Population 1, Autism, Adversity, and the Will to Succeed. He was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. He did not start to speak full sentences till even the age of 12. At the age of 15, he started writing a book about his experience of having autism. Population 1 was published before his 18th birthday, 2 weeks after completing his senior year at high school. In his 20 years, Tyler has been faced with many challenges, including being diagnosed as autistic. He always knew he was different from others and had a very unique way of seeing the world. Tyler has learned how to embrace his differences and overcome his challenges. He shares his unique perspectives, creating a positive impact in the lives of hundreds of thousands of people affected by autism. Tyler has been featured in newspapers, magazines, television, and radio programs. He speaks in front of thousands of people each year and has sold over 5,000 copies of his Population 1 book. Tyler believes that being different from the masses is one of his greatest gifts he possesses. He has chosen to acknowledge the label of autism not as a disability, but as an extraordinary ability. Please help me welcome Tyler McNamer.
Thank you. All right. Hey, so my name is Tyler McNamer. I am 20 years old and I have autism. So my goal today is to take you through on what it's like to be in the spectrum from the start of grade school to the end of high school. So first off, what is autism? I mean, when you hear that word, so what do you think about? Well, autism is all about how the brain functions completely differently. And those who have autism have a hard time being social with other people based on what they say or based on what they do. In other words, it's social and behavioral challenges. And most of the time it's misunderstood because, yeah, the mic is going down on me. It's giving up on me right now. Yeah, I should be standing up with me right now instead of just going down. Don't do that to me, Mike. Yeah, that's perfect, thanks. Yeah, so autism is very misunderstood because it is not explained clearly by the person who has it. So I'll do my very best to explain about the symptoms and what it's like to have autism. So pretty much the most basic symptom of having autism is just socially awkward with peers, parents, and teachers. That's pretty much the only symptom of having autism. So I gotta make a note of that. So I'll take you back to my younger experiences. When I was in preschool, I did not do very well in games. Like either board games or pass the beanbag. I was not really good at games because every time I played games, I've always wanted to win. That's what I think games are all about is winning all the time, and I would get so upset every time I lose. So I would just stand by at the corner and play with my toy pots and pans and watch the other kids play pass the beanbag around. And games was pretty hard. It took me at least 4 years to realize that games are always about losing as well as always about winning. So the more you lose, the better you understand it. That's basically how I see it anyway. And so yeah, it took me a while to realize about how to play with games. Another part about my young experience is that routine is very much important to me. Here, I'll give you another example. I'll give you an example on why I say routine is important. Every now and then in kindergarten, I would hang up my coat on a certain hook. It's like 3 spaces to the right. And I would hang my coat up on that particular hook. And every time that hook was taken, I'd get pretty upset, saying, "Hey, that's my hook. What are you doing? Don't play with my hook right now." So it was pretty hard. It was a pretty hard to figuring out about the coat hanger and stuff. Had to overcome that sometimes the routine breaks every now and then. Here, I'll give you here and routine is important. I just want things the same. So even when I was little, I pretty much had 10 pieces of food every time. And then after like at least 10 or probably 6 years, I would expand from 10 pieces of food to 20 pieces of food, and so on and so forth. I used to be not a big fan of sushi, but then the more I had it, the more it tastes so good. It's actually pretty much my whole family are sushi eaters, and it's time for me to be part of the sushi eating business. And I'll give you another example about why routine is important. And so when I was in first grade, or actually when I was in grade school, as a matter of fact, I did not really think that you can play sports during the rain. I thought the rain is not a good time to play sports. And so when I saw a bunch of kids playing sports in the rain, like soccer, I just got frustrated and saying, "Hey, you can't play that." So I ran after that soccer ball and then threw it down the hill where the soccer game was. Naturally, the kids were pretty upset, saying, "Hey, you ruined our game." And it took me a long time to realize that you can play sports in the rain, and that any sports, any activity can be playing sports in the rain. There's nothing the matter. I'm telling you, this microphone is going all the way down. I'm guessing it's getting bored, so I'll make it quick, sort of. All right, so this is a powerful microphone. All right, so that's pretty much basically it. I just threw the ball away, saying "game over." It's not cool. And like I said, it took me a while to realize that you can play sports in the rain. So that was my thing, is that routine is important, and it's hard for me to overcome change, overcome new things and new experiences too, because I'm used to the same old experiences as well. So it took me a while to learn about patience, and patience is one of the most important things that my parents and my teachers has ever taught me. One of the main things, anyway. So So, during my grade school, I had a hard time processing words and trying to get them all together. Say like, I'll give you examples. Say like, how progress bars that you see on computers. You always got to make sure the progress bars are all the way full. If you can't really have it halfway, because if the progress bar is halfway, then your computer won't really do very good. It won't be very perfect as well. So with me, my progress bars is.
Excuse me.
Oh, hello.
We want to be able to see you.
Oh, I actually kind of like those balloons. Yeah, let me hold them for the next couple of minutes. Actually, I kind of like it there because I love plants. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, processing words was kind of difficult. I would have to wait a long time to figure out on what exactly to say on a certain sentence, and if I don't process the words correctly, I would say stuff that makes absolutely no sense to everyone whatsoever. I can't give you an example because I can't really think of anything that's inappropriate or that's random that people can't understand because I have to process it. You have to process that random saying. Ain't that wild? So over the time, I learned how to process words correctly, and that's why I'm even doing these public speaking engagements, because I was able to process the words correctly. Yeah, finally. It took me a while, a little practice. I mean, everyone has practice, doing voice acting or getting the script down and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's natural and stuff. For me, it takes a little bit a longer time, and I gotta say, when it comes to processing words, I had to pretty much mostly be silent during my grade school years. The reason why I was silent during my grade school years is because I'm afraid I'll be blurting out a bunch of stuff, and people would treat me like like a big weirdo, basically, and stuff. So I had to be the silent protagonist in the video game, should I say? Because I love silent protagonists. Whoop. You're going to be seeing me doing that at least 10 times, so keep count. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, it's all the microphone's fault. Yeah, so I mostly had to be silent most of the time because I feel like the kids, they were kind of translating for me on what I was supposed to say or what was I supposed to do. What games I like, what foods I really enjoy and stuff. And even though I do all these inappropriate stuff, such as throwing soccer balls away or blurting out a bunch of crazy wild stuff, even doing the airplane noises every now and then, at least I did some very good stuff that's acceptable and appropriate. And not a lot of kids really quite do that. See, here's an example. I would mostly give my students or my classmates flowers and little drawings, including them. And I even wrote stories with them included. As a matter of fact, in my book Population 1, I included most of my classmates in the book too. But I did not name them because I want to be respectful to respect people's privacy and identity. And ever since then, I just gave them flowers and drawings and stories, and that was they were pretty grateful of that. It felt really good to have some grade school kids, even though they can't really understand what you're saying, you can still be silent and people can try to understand what's going through your head. And of course I had some help with the teachers as well. But to me, I think that was a pretty special experience. I still love flowers. I mean, that's one of the main characteristics that you'll find in me. So, growing up with school experiences, I had these things called parapros. Parapros are these extra teachers that are going to be with you most of the time during the school year. Actually, during school itself. See, with parapros, they would tell you, Tyler, you can't stand on top of tables and start screaming like a giraffe. Lion, excuse me. They actually did say screaming like a giraffe, and I was thinking, really? I didn't know that. And they would just pretty much remind me, saying, you can do these certain things that are appropriate, and then you can do things that you can't do, these things that are inappropriate. So that's what they've been doing so far. At first, with these parapros, I got pretty darn confused about why I have these, because I don't see anyone else having parapros, any other students. So why do I have parapros? Well, it turns out, according to them, they said that I do need a little bit of a help with social situations, and that's why they always help me doing certain stuff. And I've had parapros until high school as well. And when the parapros aren't around during high school, it does feel kind of a little bit lonely too, because the parapros were one of the things that were pretty normal for me. It was part of the routine. It was part of the routine that I was so used to of having parapros. So without having them in high school, it felt pretty different. And a little bit lonely, didn't know what to do, but at least I overcome it. It was a work in progress. That's all I can say. Another thing that the parapros can do is that they would excuse me from the classroom, and they would put me in a very quiet area, and they would wrap me up like a burrito. See, the reason why they do that is because a bunch of stimulus goes on during the class, and I needed some time to relax. So being wrapped around and being cuddled like a burrito like that, with that simple blanket, it's a pretty nice little method of calming down. Take a deep breath and to recharge and stuff. And that's why I had said that when I was in grade school. When I was in intermediate school, that's where we didn't have. It was actually called an intermediate school, which is like 5th and 6th extra grades, intermediate school. So when I was in that area and middle school, I used to jump on the trampoline just to get rid of all that energy and just to help me calm me down and stuff, to recharge my mind. And then when I was in high school, I didn't have the burrito, I didn't have the trampoline, but instead I would run around the track. And that's one of the things I love doing even to this day, is to just run. And as a matter of fact, for 2 years I've been in the track team for 2 years, and it was a pretty fun experience. I was pretty fast too. And I kind of did get some practice, just so I can recharge, just by doing track. So I thought that was a kind of a cool experience as well. Now back to grade school. I just want to say that most of the time I would walk out of the classroom. A lot of people think it's kind of weird and stuff, especially the students. And even during like class time, they would just walk out of the class. I would just walk out of the class, excuse me. And the reason why I do those are pretty much for 3 things. One is I'm afraid that I've been doing the wrong, so I try to escape from the area. I didn't want people to notice me saying that if I've been doing something wrong, I'd be like so embarrassed, so I just try to escape. Another reason is because a lot of times it gets kind of noisy in the classroom too, so I just had to just excuse myself from there and look for quieter locations. The noise is pretty tough on me. I wasn't really a big fan of noise. Today, I still prefer the quiet every now and then, but the last loudest place I've been to was a Nickelback concert. So, I can handle noise just fine. It's just that most of the time I prefer quiet as well. And the third reason why I walk out of the class is because I didn't want people to think that I'm a rat or a snitch or a freak. As a matter of fact, because I look different or sound different or act differently and stuff like that too. So just wanted to escape from school and stuff. But then I know that school is routine, so I can't really entirely escape from school. Just out of the classroom too, at least in the recess area and stuff. And over time, it really was a process by the teachers telling me that the things that happen like this, it's okay. We just gotta figure out some ways to help you and to make school a better place for you, a safe place area. So with that, I just want to say that next to having friends at the grade school, I enjoyed grade school very much. In fact, I enjoyed grade school so much that because I felt I was very accepted there. I didn't really talk as much, but they kind of was with me all the time. The schoolmates, we were giving flowers, trading lunch. I mostly ate my dessert, so I just give people my sandwiches. So I was doing that, giving flowers. Being with them during team exercises at PE. It was a very fun experience being with those kids, and let me think. I could not speak in their standards. Is basically what I'm trying to say. But and ever since then, those kids, they were a special part of my heart. That's why I even put them in my book as well. But like I said, names the names aren't in the book just to be respectful. So I just want to say that after grade school, things have kind of changed throughout intermediate, middle, and high school. Things change, and to me, I was never really used to change. Like that soccer ball story, I didn't really understood what was going on, what was different and stuff. Especially with children who used to be by my side during grade school. New friendships involved with these kids. Now I'm saying that there's absolutely nothing wrong with having new friends. In fact, having new friends is a great thing. But I'm just saying that my schoolmates that was with me, they're not as calm and patient and friendly or accepting as they were in grade school, and it was pretty hard to change to adapt. To me, I didn't really change for me because I kind of still liked soccer and playing music. I was kind of the same during my grade school. But I was still, just a little bit more mature, playing stuff that was age appropriate and stuff. And I gotta say it was kind of a challenge too, to see those friends go away as the years goes on, and I felt kind of lonely too. Pretty much the only friends I had was just the teachers and the parapros, pretty much. I was pretty much mostly friends with the adults is what I was trying to say, and it was quite the adventure. I can definitely tell you that for now, but not everything is too bad because I'll tell you a really cool high school story that happened when I was first in freshman. So here's how it went. So at the beginning of high school, they were introducing all of the freshmen, saying like, hey, here comes a freshman, here's what they can do, and all that good stuff. And the kids, that was in freshmen, like me, they were saying, hey, Tyler, you should be over at the stadium as well. Because back when I was in middle school, or actually, since ever, I was actually a pretty good dancer. And, I enjoy dancing. Dancing's one of my thing. It's great stuff. And so the kids, they told me, hey, you should go to the stadium and show us what you got. And so I did, but I went to the stadium at the wrong time because the senior students, they said, let's introduce the foreign exchange students. And I went there during the foreign exchange students. I pretend I was American. Which is, okay, I guess maybe that's not foreign, but I didn't know what was going on. It was kind of confusing. And naturally the freshman students, they were like, well, what are you doing? You can't really do that. What were you thinking? And I'm like, wait, what? So that's not what I was supposed to do? So they sent me over to the middle of the area the second time. And they said something about dancing and stuff, but I thought I was supposed to be the judge of the dancing competition. So even though I was a pretty good judge, at least I get to see a bunch of people dancing and all that kind of stuff too. And I went back to my seat again, and the freshman students said, they were like, you did it the second time. What is going on with you, man? You're supposed to do it this way and such. And it was quite interesting. I was like, oh dear, man, I didn't even know. But then later on, as soon as it was going to be football, the first game of football, I decided to have a new audience, a new source of crowd. So I decided to leave the freshmen because they expected too much of me, and so what I did was I got my dark blue pants, my black and blue shoes, and a black T-shirt, and a black and blue button-up shirt, kind of like this one, except more street-like, and wore a black cowboy hat, and I just went in there, and this is the best part, so keep up there. So I went down. Hello.
One last distraction, maybe. I think that's it. And I like your one about flying.
Yeah. I do love the air, so make a note of that. I enjoy flying. I actually still do that around too, but that's only at home when no one else is around. So anyway, back to the story. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off track. So I dressed up in a certain way, and I went down the stadium where there was a football, and I started screaming at the top of my lungs. I screamed, "Goo!" And they said, "Spartans." That was our team mascot back in high school, and I was giving so much energy, being loud and dancing like crazy. I even did a bunch of breakdancing moves too with my cowboy hat too. It was pretty rad, and I got myself a new audience with the senior students. The freshmen, they kind of keep on taunting me, saying that freshmen and senior students don't get along, but I beg to differ. So the message here for this little story is that if you were to do something that shows a positive influence about anyone, even if it's the senior students who are like 10 times taller than me. I mean, these guys are huge. I mean, I was like one of the shortest people of the school. I just think it's still possible to make good friends with them too by doing something important, something exciting, and ever since then, I became the homecoming king. Yeah, thanks. So it was a pretty cool experience. And then after sophomore and junior, it kind of just faded a little bit stuff because the same senior students aren't there anymore. They're going to college or doing their own future and stuff like that. So it was pretty sad. And I was so grateful for their hospitality that I even wrote a newspaper article about them, saying, "See you later, seniors, and glad that you're with us," and stuff. And it was quite a good experience. I kind of cried because they were going, but that was actually turned out to be the second story that I wrote a newspaper article. The first one was the first newspaper article, which kind of gave me the idea on how to write the book. Was about high school dances and how they should be clean and appropriate. And so like I said, I love dancing. Dance is everything. Dance is my form of communication. One of my forms of communication, and. Turns out I was the one-man army when it came to dancing at my own style. And people can join me if they want to with being the senior students. Lately, I've noticed that a lot of inappropriate behaviors on dancing. So I decided, no, not how I dance. So I wrote the article about saying how dances should be clean and safe for everyone. And after I published that newspaper article, naturally, there's going to be lots of backlash by a bunch of kids. In fact, even that's when I got more bullies coming out my way too. After I wrote the article, but the cool part about it is that I even got senior students to defend me, saying saying, "Man, that was super brave of you to do that." In front of a bunch of people who love to dance a certain way, and you decide to just take the bull by the horn. And that's what they said to me, and I felt internally grateful for that. I was never really afraid to do the stuff that could be an embarrassing moment, because throughout school I've been doing so many embarrassing moments throughout my whole entire school life. At least 3,000 of them to be intact. Blurting out random sayings and doing stuff inappropriate, like standing on top of stages or tables, and even throwing food around because I didn't really like them. So I was like, "What is this? You piece of garbage!" That's what it was kind of. Yeah, I kind of started food fights back then, even though I didn't really mean to. And so these are kind of little examples on what it's like to be embarrassed, to do something extremely different, and you can choose to say if it's good for you to do this experience, or if it's an embarrassing moment to do those experiences, bad experiences as well too. It's one of the things you gotta monitor. You gotta make notes of yourself. So that's one of the reasons why I wrote the article. I was never afraid. Even if I were embarrassed, I would know what it'd be like, what it's like to have that moment. So without further ado, I'd like to. Yeah. So another thing in high school is that. Actually, another thing in school is that. I was kind of, mostly an emotional kind of guy. I was kind of mostly angry most of the time. The reason why it triggers so much anger is because no one's accepting me who I am. I look different. There's so many bullies calling me names, and trying to pick on me, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty hard. Another thing I was angry is because. People who don't understand, and I'm not really used to change or new things. And when routines are broken, like for example, the hook example. When routines are broken like that, putting it on the same hook, it gets pretty frustrating as well, to me anyway. And that's what a lot of people think, saying, "Hey man, you're kind of a freak. What's going on with you? What's wrong with you? You'll never be like us." That sort of thing. It was kind of emotional, and didn't really make me feel good. It made me so angry that I would do inappropriate stuff, such as butting heads with others. I kind of had a hard head back then, still do to this day, and I would do it not just because of anger, but to me, I thought it's a way of shaking hands, just butting heads with other people. And so yeah, with the anger stuff, I would just butt heads, I would kick chairs, throw playing cards around, and I had many fights going on. It was not a good experience. I would even pounce on people during a fight and then scream during a beatdown. It was definitely not the most fun moments of school. In fact, I don't really like them. It was pretty tough, pretty hard, and especially when things aren't supposed to be angry, like broken routines, or having patience and stuff. And I gotta tell you the reason why I throw cards around. So one of my least favorite school subjects was leadership. In the leadership category in high school, I really wanted school to be fun for everyone. I wanted to include everyone into the picture. So one of my things was to write down a long list in red marker, because that's my favorite color. In red marker, 123 things that we can do for school to make it pretty rockin'. Like here's one example. Make a talk show in front of the lunch. Like Jay Leno and stuff like that. So too, you can just do a talk show. Have celebrities, quote unquote, like the track star or the football quarterback, all that kind of stuff, and have a little talk show. You can play poker or have a water balloon tournament. Because I don't know, why not? Having water balloon tournaments, having poker, all these different things I wrote on this large list. And no one else in the leadership really saw this list on what to do to make school a lot more fun. Even doing flash mobs, because I love dancing. And still there's nothing. So at the end of the school year, I got so darn upset that I threw my playing cards at the wall. Even dented the wall, surprisingly too. Those are hard playing cards. Yeah, and I got so upset because no one really heard my voice, heard the 123 things. The reason why I put 123 things is because I wanted to see the 1, 2, 3, and that's one of the things I wanted to see, just to keep it equal and fair. And it was pretty tough, but I was glad that the leadership teacher, he said, if a lot of people are like you, then school will be a lot fun place. It will be a very fun place. I say, yeah, it still is a pretty touching moment that he said that to me, because it's the kids that run the leadership. It's how to prove yourself that you are the leader. The teacher is just giving you some examples and stuff, or some tips here and there. But no, it's the students that do the leadership. They need to learn how to know what it's like to be a leader and stuff. And leadership requires lots of teamwork too. And when you leave out someone who is trying to help, just leave out one person who's just trying to help. It's not really a good example of leadership. You're supposed to You're supposed to include everyone in the leadership, and that's what it's like to be a part of a team. So at least so it wasn't really quite the best experience for me on that stuff. One of my favorites classes is language arts. Because I wrote the book, wrote stories, and language arts was one of my favorite subjects. And it was a great moment. I think that all the school classes are equally important. It just requires a lot of skills, and know if you're really good at it, and you see what you can do to make learning a lot of fun. So that was my experience about those things. Now during school, I learned this very basic table, one that says appropriate behaviors and the other that says inappropriate behaviors. That sounds very basic, right? I mean, you would know. For me, I kind of had a tough time knowing what was appropriate and what's not appropriate. I'll give you another example of what's inappropriate for me during high school. I actually went to the football stadium and went up to the announcer's room and played Def Leppard on the intercom. Security went in, and being the track star, I ran as fast as I could. I didn't learn my lesson back then, because I did the second time. Instead of not playing Def Leppard, but I decided to announce the game, who's playing who, and all that good stuff, saying that's a beautiful day. And I was going to say, advertise my book, but it wasn't even published yet. So I did that, and then the real announcer guy showed up, and I was like, gotta go. I'll give you one more example similar to this. So I love music. I love dancing, as you already may know. And then I saw the DJ turntable. There was no one at the DJ turntable, so I said, this looks like a job for Tyler. So I played a bunch of interesting new songs that people haven't really heard of before, like Captain Jack. He's one of my favorite bands. Not a lot of people heard of Captain Jack, but to me, I think he has some pretty cool, fun, dancing music. And then the real DJ guy came in, and so I just pretty much hid in the shadows, because it's all dark and because it's all dark, full of lights. It's kind of just fun to just sprint out of the way and then just hide in the shadows. Kind of a cool experience. So anyway, with appropriate and inappropriate behaviors in school, I've had a bunch of that stuff too. Like inappropriate, don't. There's a long list saying, don't do this. Appropriate, saying you can give flowers to people. That's still appropriate behavior. And I had a long list of certain things depending on certain situations. If you're at the football game, if you're at the restaurant, if you're at school, if you're at the cafeteria, all these different scenarios that you're in. And we would go through what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. And it slowly kind of made me learn about the different stuff that are appropriate and what's inappropriate. And it kind of gave me a general idea on what to do on these certain situations to be like everyone else. Not necessarily be like everyone else, but to have appropriate behavior like everyone else. See, there's a little difference there. So, what's it like growing up? I would say that growing up, it takes a while to understand certain things, and it takes a while to learn. But evidently, you are going to mature, and you are going to process words correctly in your own saying. I mean, that's why I'm doing public speaking engagements, because I was able to process words a lot faster than I was a long time ago. And I had to embrace change a lot, although, especially, especially like the soccer ball thing. That's all I can think of so far. That you have to embrace the change, or the hook thing. Things change over time too. Even the soccer goalpost had to be moved because it was in a certain location that didn't work out. So I was saying, hey, what are you doing? Put that back. And but then again, you can't really have a soccer game when you have two goals facing this way. So I had to learn that very much and stuff. And I was able to speak in full sentences ever since I was 12. It was a pretty cool experience, I can tell you that. And I was able to eat certain types of food and I was able to eat all kinds of foods, because back then I would eat 10 pieces of foods, like spaghetti, macaroni and cheese, and all that stuff. And I used to not be a big fan of sushi until I had more of it with my dad. Because like I said, my family's a big sushi place. I mean, big sushi eaters. So I got the chance to become an expert sushi eater, because it was so good. The more you try these different types of food, the more you'll eventually like them. That's why I kind of learned as well. So, public speaking engagements aren't really the first times I've done many performances. One of the performances I did was being this person known as the Cajun Man. Now, the Cajun Man was a fictional character that I made up during intermediate school. And what he does is that he would put on his Cajun accent and talk about the weather for the school. I would start out saying, "Howdy, folks, this is Cajun Man here," reporting live. "Today we're going to have lots of sunshine, 78 degrees. Low would be 60 degrees. So, better put on your t-shirts on right now." And that's what I pretty much mostly wear. It's just a cowboy hat, a white t-shirt, and and tennis shoes like these, and jeans. So I was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun being that character. And a lot of kids really liked the Cajun Man. And the only annoying part about being the Cajun Man is that whenever you walk by the highway, the hallway, then people would say, "Hey, look, it's the Cajun Man," or "Hey, Cajun Man." And I was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Stop calling me Cajun Man. I want to be called Tyler." I mean, of course, it is good to be on character every once in a while, but I still like to be called Tyler every once in a while. You can call me Cajun Man when I say so. In fact, I forgot to bring my cowboy hat with me, so at least I still got it with the accent and everything. And so yeah, I just wanted my true identity to be heard and not a different identity. I just wanted to be heard by the true identity. It was great being the character at the time, Italian school for the day, and it was pretty nice. It was a pretty fun experience. I would like to do a Cajun Man probably one day someday, because I kind of miss being the character. But all I'm saying is that yeah, you gotta still call me Tyler, all right? Because that's Cajun Man's real name. Yeah, so it was a pretty fun experience. So with that, I would say, why the quietness? Why do you like being quiet all the time? Well, for me, agitation brings agitation. Relaxation brings relaxation. That's why I kind of like to see it from my perspective, because it's true. When things go crazy, a lot of noises and busy things going on, the brain all of a sudden kind of just explodes, and that's when you start screaming and doing a bunch of weird, crazy, freaky movements that you do too. So it was just a time for me to have a break. You gotta have the quietness and stuff. Have the quietness every now and then. Like I said, I still prefer the quietness today, but I still managed to overcome the noise. And I would say having the quietness is pretty nice. That's all I can say too. Now, with that, I would like to note at least 4 people who are diagnosed with either Asperger's or autism. I would like to say that Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who was a musician back then, he was treated for having Asperger's. He was kind of odd. Always wears these little wigs. I think the wigs are kind of cool, but musical genius. I mean, he wrote a bunch of cool classical composers back then, and he was well known back in the day. Another one that's been diagnosed with Asperger's is Albert Einstein. I'll tell you a little quick story about the man behind E = mc². So when he was in 3rd grade back in Germany, he was around in a very serious school. A lot of kids they don't really smile as much, and when they took his their group picture or class photo, Albert Einstein was the only one in the audience that actually smiled. And I just think that's kind of interesting too, especially given his background too. He probably was a little bit different. In fact, even in his biography, he was treated a lot different too, because he couldn't really pronounce words back then, even if he tried to. And even during his later years, he was kind of a little slow on speaking as well. And he was kind of socially interesting too. I mean, like, I never actually seen a scientist sticking his tongue out in front of a camera. It's kind of a cool shot, I think. I really enjoy that. But he's super brilliant. He's a teacher, and he brought a whole new meaning to relativity and new equations for science. So I thought that was a kind of a cool experience for him, no matter if he's different or not. There's another person that could be very common today is Tim Burton. He's a artist and a movie director, and if you can see him, he kind of has a little crazy wild hair every now and then, and he could be a little dark, a little mysterious, depending on if you look at his artwork too. It's kind of out there and full of mystery and darkness. But he was diagnosed with having Asperger's. He was a genius with his art and with his movie directing, and there's a lot of people who enjoy his work and stuff, no matter if he has Asperger's or not. And finally, I'd like to name at least one more person that's been diagnosed with autism, and that's this man known as Satoshi Tajiri. Satoshi Tajiri, not a lot of people know about him. Whether I think super fans of his work should know about him, because Satoshi Tajiri was the creator and founder of the series known as Pokemon. Yeah, that's right. So I'll tell you a little background story about what it's like for him when he was little. See, little Satoshi, he was a big fan of the arcade games. He loves video games and was not really a big fan of school. He he really hated school so much because kids, they would kind of just make fun of him just by how he looked, and just by his crazy actions going on. And one of the things that he loves to do besides playing video games is to catch and collect bugs. So catch and collect bugs, which kind of inspires the whole, gotta catch them all, gotta catch all these little monsters that you collect during the Pokemon series, which kind of relates to his childhood, collecting bugs and all that good stuff too. And he was a doodler back then. He kind of had these little crazy weird ideas based on different stuff. And so Nintendo called saying, "Hey, I like your idea. Let's make a game of it." And that's how Pokemon became a reality. Is these crazy ideas, and it became such an incredible idea for people who are big fans of video games. And so with that, I feel like super fans of the Pokemon series should get to know a little bit more about the man behind the pocket monsters. And that's why I think it should happen too. Just a little background check on the origins of the series. So I think these four people that I've noted are very nice inspirations on what they've done to the community, to the world, and to the field of entertainment. Now, all right. So I would like to say that like I said, I was silent because I was just a little bit more focused. I thought in different ways. I had time to figure out what was going on, like with people's sentences, and I can process the sentences very good, but I can't really quite reply as fast as people do. So it takes me a little while to realize that. So that's why most of the time I'm just silent during the school years, and so that's why. But I'm not as silent anymore. I mean, sure, I like to be quiet every once in a while, but I can only speak when it is very necessary too. So that's why I see when it comes to being silent. So how I've changed over the years. So I've changed very much. Like I said, it's a process with having autism. People can process in different ways. If it's fast, great. If it's slow, it takes a little time. But eventually, they will come to adapt and be accepted by everyone. It takes a little time, but for me, I think acceptance don't have to have a time limit. It can be done right now. So that's why I think when it comes to change, how I've grown up. I mean, like I can still eat and drive cars and do laundry. I mean, I can do a whole bunch of stuff that anyone else can do. For me, I still have a little trouble, processing words here and there, but not as bad as what I did like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, excuse me. So with that, I can't conclude with this all the way down. So in conclusion, I propose that we should find your unique ability and show it up to this world. It can be, writing. It can be artwork. It can be, field of science. It can even be a whole bunch of entertainment. Because who knows? Maybe you could be the next Pokemon master. So with that, I would like to leave off with a message that I want you to remember, and that is to never diss your ability. Because it's not a disability, because everyone has disabilities. It's not a disability. It's a unique and extraordinary ability. That's what I like to put right there too. My tagline shows that to change your disability to make it an extraordinary ability. So never diss your ability. And I just wanted to, and I would like to, say thank you for letting me be here, and I am so happy to have the privilege to be here with you today. I'm so excited that each one of you have the ability to find your own extraordinary ability. Thank you.
Thank you. Tyler. So we do have a quick door prize we're going to do. Tyler has donated one of his books. So we'll go ahead and let him pull the name.
All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see. All right. I don't think I should carry this. All right, so let's see. Maisie.
Maisie. Mary. Layton.
Mary Layton.
Is she here? Nope, let's pull another one.
All right, let's do this again. That's what I like to do in playing cards too, as a matter of fact. That's how I shuffle. One of the ways I shuffle. Let's see. Dorothy.
Eslick. Dorothy Eslick.
Dorothy Eslick.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and then Tyler's going to be sitting over here with his books, and he's signing them and selling them, so please come join him down here if you want to talk with him some more. He'll be around for the rest of the fair as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Awesome job, Tyler.
Thank you.